Good evening, YouTube. This is another video of mine. It's going to be a vent, I'm afraid, because there's a subject that keeps getting brought up that makes me so angry that I feel I need to say something. Whether or not anyone listens to it is a different thing entirely. But whenever I hear good news about MS research, I want to share it with other people in all the MS groups that I'm part of. I want to share it because it raises awareness, but it also gives hope to those who are living with MS themselves. It gives them hope for the future and what's happening. Bearing in mind, DMDs have only been going for the last 25 years. And they are... Sorry, that's my husband. They are designed to slow progression. They're not a cure. They are designed to slow progression for some. When DMDs were first released, I think there was one, and I think that was beta interferon. And from the stories that I've heard, if you had MS, you were put on a lottery, and if you won that lottery, you got that medication. That was at the beginning. Over those 25 years, there's now another 10, 12, I think, DMDs designed to hopefully slow progression. Not a cure, I understand that, not a cure. But me and my husband have been reading a lot of material since I was diagnosed 18 months ago. I've been reading a lot of material about what's happening with MS. I suspect I've already mentioned this in a previous video, but when they first suspected MS, I felt quite down. And as we were waiting for a lift home, we were reading a medical newspaper, and actually in that medical newspaper, when MS was first mentioned to me, in that medical newspaper there was talk about what's happening with MS now. I can't remember what the study was, but it had something to do with remyelinization or measures in halting the disease. That was the first news article I read about MS, and I think I was discharged from hospital on the 11th of September. I was in hospital for 5 days with a suspected stroke. Lesions were found in my brain, oligoclonal bands and protein was found in my spinal fluid, all consistent with MS. The only thing that was different with my MS was that my optic neuritis affected both of my eyes instead of one, but all severe telltale signs. And my neurologist even said I'm a classic case. Everything. I'm a classic case. All of it. I've had other tests, of course, lots and lots of other tests. But anyway, skipping forward, that was the first news article that I read about what's happening with MS. That was 1.5 years ago. Now, since then, we have read about more studies to repair the damage that MS has made. So, repair the myelin that's been damaged, the nerves that have been damaged. So that's happening on a human clinical trial as well. So it's past the research stage, it's past the animal stage. They're now giving it out to humans. And so that is phase 3 of the 4-step clinical trials: research, animal models, humans, and then long-term results. That's always the 4 stages of a medical trial, unless you're lucky enough to get a 2-stage medical trial, which is human to proven results. Anyway, remyelinization was one of the first ones that we read. Halting the disease as well. There's drugs that they are creating now to halt the disease, so stop the progression, stop the damage, and then repair what damage has been made. But in the last 18 months, I have read so many articles about how they want MS cured. And so my video is for those who don't think MS or autoimmune is ever going to be cured because Big Pharma makes too much money off of it. Yes, they make a lot of money off of drugs, not just for autoimmune disease, but for a lot of other diseases as well. HIV, AIDS, cancer. They make a lot of money off of a lot of diseases. Their pockets are fully lined. But it's not Big Pharma that's funding the MS research. It is the governments who are paying out so much money in disability benefits. They want to move that down. I know it's hard to get disability benefits anyway, but I know a lot of people, myself included, who do get disability benefits because of how much MS is affecting them. So the governments is one of the first things. The politicians is another thing, joined in with the governments. They are funding the MS research as well. Followed by the public faces of MS. So the celebrities, Montel Williams, Clay Walker, Jack Osborne. They are one of many who are celebrities with MS who are funding research to cure it. Montel Williams himself, he's got his own trust, which he is paying $1.5 million into to fund a cure. So governments is one, politicians is another, public faces is another, charities and foundations, those who have been working on a cure for decades now, they are also funding research for a cure. So it's not Big Pharma that's funding this research, it's not Big Pharma. Politicians do make some money off of Big Pharma. They make money off of a lot of things, not just pharmaceutical profits. They make money off of a lot of things. There's a lot of income for politicians and the governments. But it is the governments who are angry and unhappy that more and more of their population is becoming disabled and having to rely on disability benefits because they are unable to work. So they want to fix us so that we can get a job again, work again, pay our taxes again, and not have to have these disability benefits because we are cured. We are individuals again, pain-free, functioning, contributing, happy individuals. That is what we want to be. That is what I want to be. So it's not Big Pharma. And I get angry when someone says, we'll never cure it. Big Pharma's making too much money. Yes, they are. But there will always be diseases. In the future, we will never ever cure all disease. HIV is already mutating to a far more aggressive form that becomes AIDS in less than 2 years. Ebola is mutating. There's a lot of diseases that are mutating. Antibiotics for these diseases, these viral diseases, these bacterial diseases, are starting to not work. So Big Pharma will always have money to make because there will always be diseases to make money off of. But these organisations, these foundations, these charities, these politicians, these governments, they want to cure us. They are the ones that are paying for this research because they want to cure us. Autoimmune, MS, all of these autoimmune diseases, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, they are all working together, an autoimmune foundation, to start curing autoimmune disease because they are seeing the populations increase. They're seeing that the global population of these autoimmune diseases increase. How many more people are having to get disability benefits, having to quit work, having to be unable to contribute towards their own societies? They are seeing this and it's making them angry and it's making them worried. And this is what me and my husband are witnessing now. These articles that we see, these articles that we read, the clinical trials that we see, we have spoken to neurologists, we have spoken to these organisations, these foundations, these charities, we get emails, we get letters. We have heard a lot of noise about MS in the last 2 years. They want to cure this. And they are actually talking about now, when I was first diagnosed, they were just talking about treatment to slow it down. They never mentioned the C word, as they call it. They never mentioned a cure. But now they are. Now they are talking about curing it. They are wanting to cure it. And that is what I am seeing now. And I will be damned if I die before I see a cure to this. I will be damned. Even if it's not for me. Even if I don't have the cure for myself, then for the future generations. So that this disabled population, it keeps growing. And I've seen it grow. 1.8 million to 2.3 million in less than 2 years. I have seen that grow. Yay, diagnostic material is better now. That's good, because you can get diagnosed quicker. I was only diagnosed in 4 months, luckily. But nay, at the same time, because the number is growing, now that they can catch it earlier, the number is growing. And that is what's making them worried, because they're seeing that the diagnostic medicine that is being refined is making that number jump up significantly. So now, that's one of the reasons why they are worried. Disability benefits, quicker diagnosis, bigger numbers. That is what they're seeing, and they're looking in the long term. They're not looking in the short term. DMDs, we're getting more reports now that unfortunately more people are starting to die from DMDs. I've been seeing reports about Gilenya is killing a couple of people. I know it doesn't affect everybody. If you find a good DMD that suits you, then yay. It unfortunately won't stop progression, but it might slow it down for you. It's very hit and miss. I'm not on any meds at the minute, and my MS is interesting. Very, very interesting. See, I look normal, but I am not. I live with dizziness, I live with pain, balance, weakness in the legs, tremors, every bit of MS fun. I pretty much live with it. My pain is not as bad as it was. But anyway, this is not a sob story for me. This is a message to those who think that MS is never going to be cured. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I have seen a lot of activity. My husband has seen a lot of activity. We have spoken to a lot of people, and a lot of people want to get this cured. So I am hoping in my lifetime, my husband is a realist here, I'm hoping in my lifetime we will see the end of this. Because the government want their individuals back, they want the voters back, they want the workers back. That's what they're working on now. So this video is primarily a vent towards them. Those that think that we will never be cured, we are going to be. And I'm witnessing something wonderful here. And I still think, and you can insult me if you want, I still think that the reason why I've got this disease is because in my lifetime I'm going to see it get cured. I was a very healthy individual before I got sick, but I do think that I have got this because I'm here to see the end of it. And I was diagnosed a year after Jack Osborne was. I don't have his income, unfortunately, but he is funding the research towards a cure. So they are working together, and things are moving. So this is for them. I have a tiny optimist. She stays with me. I have a tiny optimist that thinks that despite all of the pain that I live with, all the restrictions that I live with every damn day, there is a reason for it. And that is because I'm going to see the end of this disease. So that is what I'm hoping for now. That is what I feel is going to happen. And that is what I pray for every day. So the naysayers can sit there and neigh. They can sit there and be pessimistic if they wish. But these people are going to eat their words when the cure comes around. And it will. Because so much is happening. Even in the last 2 months, I have read 7 to 8 news articles about curing MS. Not living with MS, curing it. I've seen a couple of articles talking still about living with it, the research in MS therapy centres. That's great, but I don't want to see articles about living with it. I want to see articles about curing it. And I am seeing that now. So this is for them. You've got to have hope. Because a population with an incurable disease will do nothing but grow. And these people, these governments and organisations are starting to see that now. They're starting to see how much of a burden it is becoming on their voters. And they've had enough. They want to have voters again that can function, pay their taxes, and be people that want to be part of their societies. That is my 2 cents, as they call it. That is genuinely how I feel. Feel free to ignore everything that I've just said, or feel free to absorb it. That is entirely up to you.